Hello and welcome, survivors. This is a Subnautica how-to. Let's get started. So, we just got past the beginning cutscene. So we're going to start from right here for anybody who's getting into the game or anything like that. If we start and look at the bottom left-hand corner, we have our stats essentially. Our big one is our temperature because we are on land. When we go into the water, that will switch between the O2 at the bottom right. As you can see, we're getting a little bit cold, so we're going to need to find some water to keep us warm because you get cold when you're on land. Moving from the left, we have our health, we have our food, which is yellow, and then our water. So I'm paused so that my stats and my cold doesn't go down any. So when you land, essentially, there are supplies around the drop pod. So we're going to go ahead and go pick some of those up real quick. So just give a quick look around. Here's a flare. The flare is actually important. It is helping give us some more warmth back.
New blueprint synthesized.
And depending on if you're playing on a controller or a keyboard and mouse, your options of what you need to do and how to actually play the menu will be a little bit different. So now that we've picked up some water, and we even missed a little bit of food here, I think we got just about everything. So we are going to start heading towards our drop pod. Now if you're getting really cold, these little plants that have like little sunflowers, I don't need that flare anymore.
That did not go as planned.
These little plants will actually help keep you warm if you stand by them for a minute. So, as our character was describing, we're just going to work down our path. There's another path, too, that would come and lead us down to the water over here. And from here, we will be able to jump in and start our exploration into the world of Subnautica. I'm going to look at my PDA real quick, which on my controller is the little double screen icon. Here you can see your inventory, which we have everything that we've picked up. So you can consume and drop things or use them however you need. We have quite a few flares. And this is where you can find your blueprints and beacons and photos if you want to take any. There's logs, and then there's a databank, which will just have fun stuff for you to read. So we're going to go ahead and jump in, and we're going to swim over to our drop pod. Now there shouldn't be anything along the way here that will interfere or get you. So it should be fairly safe. These are the beginning shallows. They usually don't put too many things in here. So I'm going to swim over to the drop pod, and I will catch up with you guys over there. Another thing, as I'm coming up to the drop pod, if you may notice down at the bottom left, my oxygen's almost empty. So that's definitely something you need to keep an eye on. And pop back up to the surface every now and then to refresh. So we are here at our drop pod. This is going to be our little base for a while.
Found the drop pod.
Here we have the Fabricator, which is used to make all of our different basic resources and some of our advanced resources. This is essentially what you need to, go anywhere in the game. It makes our tools and our equipment and even storage. And speaking of storage, we do have some built in, so I'm going to go ahead and put these flares in there and some food and some water. Actually, we'll keep that food block out because I think we're going to need it soon.
Well, Sam, I guess I might as well gather some tools and resources before starting my search.
So, as our character's talking to herself here, we are going to actually, that is what you're going to want to do for beginning, is get some resources. So, first thing is probably tools. A survival knife is extremely important, as well as an oxygen tank. But we need the survival knife before we can get the oxygen tank. So, the survival knife is going to take silicone rubber and titanium. Now, you might ask, well, how do we get those resources? As we swim around, there's limestone here, and the game is doing a wonderful job at helping me out, that you can swim up to and break, and they will give you various resources. So there's all these little outcrops. You just have to keep an eye out for them, and you also have to watch your oxygen. So we come up and just swim around. Here we got a couple over here. We'll swim down to these. And while we're over this way, let's go look at the kelp over here. So the kelp is where we get the creepvine seeds and stuff. And the game's wanting me to catch a bladderfish. I will teach you guys that here in just a little bit. So see, this big one over here has like little, I don't know, they're little red like seeds on it. So those are actually creepvine clusters, and that is how we can make silicone rubber and fiber mesh. So it's really important to fill up on these, but if you look at your inventory, they take up quite a bit of space. So, you know, you can only carry so many of them. But on our way back to our drop pod here, if you can at all, you know, swim up and snag a fish, sometimes when you start chasing them, they run away.
New creature discovered.
You can take a fish and you can actually catch the different fish and you can cook
Oxygen.
them. Now this one right here, this pinkish one, which I just missed, is one that will actually give us water. So as far as I know, those are the only types that will actually give water. So we'll catch him.
Creature discovered.
Oh, and there's some outcrops here. That's a plant that is going to be used later for making batteries and more advanced tools. But yeah, just as you're swimming along, you can catch some fish, and that will help give you food and water to help maintain yourself. But as you see, sometimes they're just a little too fast. So, all right, let's jump in our drop pod here. We're going to go to our Fabricator, and there's a food tab, and we're going to go ahead and make the water first. That's just a personal preference for me. I like doing that because you can actually cook the bladderfish and eat them, but they're more useful as water. So I always like to make the water first so I don't accidentally cook one. So, and because we are a little bit hungry, we're actually going to go ahead and eat the boomerang fish there and drink a little bit of the water. So now back to the Fabricator. We have the creepvine cluster seeds, which we need for silicone rubber, and we'll get 2 of those. And we picked up some titanium from some outcrops, so let's make our survival knife. Alright, first tool of the game is very important. So now we're going to go ahead and make another silicone rubber, because that will give us fins, which will make us faster in the water. So now we can make our fins to be faster in the water. And now the biggest thing that we really need is to upgrade our oxygen so that we can explore a little bit better in the ocean here. So for that we need fiber mesh and titanium. To make fiber mesh, we need creepvine samples, which is just taking your survival knife and going up to one of the kelp plants and slashing it to get a couple of samples. So we're going to go ahead and swim back over there real quick. I'm going to go ahead and put these extra cluster seeds away and the copper because I don't really need them right now. So, and we auto-equipped our fins if we look in our inventory here. So those are already good to go. So now we move a little bit quicker, and it should be a little bit easier to grab fish for, say, water and things. But let's go ahead and get our knife out. Shiny. And we will go ahead and swim up to some creepvine here, and we'll get a couple of samples.
New blueprint synthesized.
And there we go. Let's swim back to the drop pod and make our upgraded... Oh, actually, we can't make the upgraded oxygen tank just yet. We need just a little bit more of the titanium, which I see some outcrops down there. So there is just quite a bit of exploring to do and things to figure out in the game, but this is how we get started. So, and yeah. So there's some titanium, some more titanium, and a little bit of copper. And there is a oxygen plant for if you want to swim deep. This can actually replenish up to 30 points of your oxygen. So, fun little things. And here we have a new material, silver. There's different types of outcrops that will give different types of resources. But we're just focused on the beginning here and staying alive. So, let's hop back in and make our upgraded oxygen tank, which will help make it a lot easier for us to keep exploring. Don't forget to keep catching some fish here and there so that we have something to eat.
New creature discovered.
So let's hop in the drop pod, make all of our water, and then we will cook up the new fish. Alright, and now we wanted the fiber mesh to go ahead and make our oxygen tank. There we go, a standard O2 tank.
Adding additional blueprints to your databank.
And now we got
The standard oxygen tank can be upgraded for deluxe and VIP breathing.
we had our PDA talking to us there a little bit. Now we got some more tools and some more things to make. Next tool I think is important to make is the scanner, which requires a battery and titanium. So to make a battery, we have to come up to electronics, and we need a copper and 2 of those ribbon plants that we've seen in one of the little caves. So let's go ahead and hop out, even though it's really dark out, and we will swim over real quick and go look at that. The scanner is an important tool to have because it allows us to scan fragments of new technology and be able to make things. An important thing that we want to find.
Electrolytic materials that can be used in energy storage.
An important thing that we want to find here is going to be sea glide fragments. And now a sea glide is just a little self-propelled sled, essentially, that we hold on to and will help glide us through the water way faster. So that is going to be a very useful thing to have and help aid us very much in exploration. So here we can make the battery, and with the battery we should be able to make, not there, but in tools, the scanner. So you can scan just about everything here. And then if you also want to explore in really deep spots and you have extra titanium, you can make a floating air pump and pipes to give you air down in deeper spots of the area. So that's got a lot of our basics made, and now we're pretty much at a state where we can just explore. Or that's all we kind of got left to do is explore. Well, let's eat our hoopfish before we forget about it. So now we're just kind of ready to survive and explore. Now that we've got our initial tools, and man, look at that view. Isn't that a lovely view? Anyway, majority of the surviving and exploring that you're going to be doing, at least in the beginning here, is going to be in this like corally bridge area and in the kelp areas here. So as you're playing and exploring around, there will be little updates and little things that will get scanned and that will automatically be added, and they'll help give you direction as to where you need to go. Now, my suggestion is it's always beneficial to have a better oxygen tank and to find the resources to make one when that becomes available. So a lot of the exploring that you're going to want to do is going to be around these corally areas. As you can see, there's a little bit of glowing blue over there. I wonder what that might be. Something fun to explore potentially, and the areas around there and the creatures that live in these areas. So yeah, I think that's going to be a good start for our introduction. And yeah, if you guys have any questions down in the comments below about what resources you're trying to find or where to go, or if you're lost, or what you need to be doing or focusing on, just ask me down in the comments below and I'll do my best to answer and give you guys a head start. But yeah, just jump in, start reading a lot of the data logs, and always keep an eye on your oxygen so that you don't drown. It's really important. So just by reading data logs and look at your blueprints and focusing on what you think will help benefit your survival and what will tell you, what ways you need to explore and what things you need to do. But that is going to be all for this introductory guide. I hope it helps some of you guys out. And again, if you have any questions or anything about how to get started, just ask them down in the comments below and I'll do the best I can to try and help you guys get going on it. So good luck out there in the deep down dark here, and I wish you guys the best, and I hope to see you all in the next one.